Engaging humor path to me was about discovering in what ways I could be funny. Of course, the path defines that it's about understanding your sense of humor, but without really trying to be funny, you will never understand why humor is so personal. So, engaging humor path to me is about how you can be perceived as funny. Why did I choose engaging humor? Now, this is a question which doesn't have a simple answer. There are many things. One thing that I really wanted to achieve was be funny on stage because I've seen speakers, when they are funny, you instantly have a connection with them. You want to listen more to them and you are in their shoes. And humor has this ability to even diffuse a situation. I've seen speakers, even in the World Championships, saying a very serious story with a touch of humor, which makes it more digestible. So, for me, humor has been a long standing goal to be funny on stage so I could be perceived as more engaging and more intelligent speaker on stage. What turned out to be the biggest challenge in the path? Well, the biggest challenge for me was to be funny. Yeah, that was my biggest challenge actually. When I started this path, of course, the path doesn't require you to be funny in every speech. The level one speeches are just as any other path. But I made it a point that I will make people laugh at every speech I give in this path. Now, to be honest, people laugh even at my normal speeches if I really don't try hard to be funny. But since I was introduced that I'm doing this engaging humor path and people expected me to be funny, I wasn't funny or people didn't laugh. I don't know who jinxed it, but for my first four speeches, there was literally zero laughter. Even on my other normal speeches, when when I unintentionally make a joke, people laugh. But during engaging humor, people didn't laugh, and I was so disappointed. So this was my biggest challenge to make people laugh. What benefits can I see from competing this path? To me, I can say I'm a bit more funnier. I'm not the funniest yet, but I've managed to crack the code of what make people laugh. And it's been a long journey of discovery of what works and what doesn't. With other kind of speeches for motivation and persuasion, you can be sure that people will be motivated or persuaded when you're preparing a speech. But with humor, it's so much dependent on the audience and their age, their knowledge, and how do you identify yourself as one with them. I can make jokes which work for 50-year-olds but the same might not work for kindergarten kids and the vice versa. So humor is so audience specific, and this forced me to really analyze who my audience are, what do they know, what do I identify with them in common. And that was my biggest challenge and my biggest learning as well, on how important an audience is to a speech. With other kinds of speech, with motivational, persuasive, it is kind of important, but you can get away without really understanding your audience. You can have a very generic motivational speech and it will be motivational. But with humor, if you don't know your audience, they're most likely that they will not laugh or just smile. So this was my biggest challenge with engaging humor, to understand my audience. Who can this path be for? Well, anyone who wants to understand their audience and feel more authoritative on stage, in that humor or laughter is a feedback from the live feedback from the audience that they are listening. So this level of engagement you don't get with any other technique. So if you want to be more engaging speaker and just be perceived as not a threat, like when you're funny, people get a bit more closer to you, they build a connection because they don't know you before, but when you're funny, especially with self-deprecating humor, they instantly develop a connection with you. So if you want to be perceived as more intelligent, more funny, and be more engaging speaker, I think humor is for everyone. I mean, who honestly doesn't like to be funny? So humor is for everyone, but it can be hard to start with. So I would recommend, this can demotivate you if you're just starting out as a public speaker and you already try to be funny. I mean, I'm not saying it's not for them. The people are so different. Some public speakers start from the very bottom, like me. I was so scared to just be on stage. So for me, this would have not been the ideal first path. But if you are halfway through another path or completed another path, I would highly recommend someone to take up this challenge and be a more engaging and funny speaker. So it's, I think, yeah, with some exposure to public speaking, humor is a good challenge to take up on. Thank you.